I'm always teaching my students the state of the art on whatever subject I'm talking about. And one that's important to a lot of entrepreneurs and leaders is how to raise money, especially how to raise capital. And I've had so many calls from people saying, Mark, can you find somebody with some money? I'm going to be evicted from my apartment at the end of the week, or I put in my own first $1 million and now I'm broke. And if I don't find another 200,000, then my company's going to have to shut down in 2 weeks. And obviously I want to help these people, but this is very frustrating because they're just neither of those cases, neither of those examples are the people ready to actually receive money. So I can make all the introductions that I want and nobody's going to invest in these people because they're just not ready. And getting ready to receive capital, large amounts of money, takes preparation. That takes time. And it takes somebody being responsible and accountable for that activity. Typically, one person focused on nothing but raising money. And what you find in a lot of startups is the founder trying to do everything, trying to build out the company and raise capital at the same time and running out of money. And it's just a mess. And there is a solution. You don't have to do that anymore. So in my Make My Nut community, I teach people how to build a syndicate, which is essentially a collection of future investors, and they build a syndicate for themselves. I learned this art from some really great fundraisers who built funding communities into which they would then provide them with offers and projects that they had recruited or developed. And I learned this from people who raise venture capital funds. And so we're going to get in a few more details, but the first thing is the fundraiser needs to be able to pay their bills. Otherwise, you're just in chaos. And so if you are not in that situation where you can afford to pay the cost to raise money, then the Make My Nut approach is perfect for you, because what you want to do first is raise your nut. And your nut, what is your nut? The nut, as I say, it's a hard thing to crack, but it's paying your basic personal bills and the nominal bills to keep your operation afloat. So the best time to start raising money is now, before you even really need it. Otherwise, it's usually too late. And so with the Make My Nut approach, you learn how to sell your idea. Most entrepreneurs are very focused on selling their product, and they're trying to bootstrap and get to proof of concepts, and those things are great. But at any moment, you can sell your idea, and with the Make My Nut approach, you sell it for recurring revenue, recurring monthly revenue. And in that way, you can relatively quickly build up enough monthly income to pay either your bills or the bill of a dedicated fundraiser to focus on the next process of actually raising capital. And the thing is, when you're doing the process I'm talking about, you're building a community of potential investors. And the numbers are really quite something. I mean, typically in Western countries or the westernized portion of other countries, about 1 in 10 people are millionaires. And literally for every 100,000 adults, you're looking at a base of about $30 billion of investable capital. So there's no money shortage. What there is you're just disorganized. You don't know how to get organized. You don't know how to reach into these vast communities of capital that actually probably would really love to invest in the thing you're doing. So that's why I help people get stable before they ever need money, even before they start their project, just from the idea stage. There's a market for ideas. I know that because I've been raising money in that market for the past 30 years, and now my goal is to teach you how to do that. And I just want to throw in another little secret about how to hire a great securities lawyer for free. And if you know securities lawyers, they typically charge anywhere from $700 US to $2,000 an hour. And let's just say that's what they cost. And a lot of people think they want to raise capital. They hire a lawyer, they spend a bunch of money making some kind of offer, and then they don't have anybody to sell it to. And this is the same with almost every business. Most newbie entrepreneurs, they try to start their business by making a product and then selling it later. And that's the exact opposite. Successful people experienced entrepreneurs sell something today, whether they sell the idea or a prototype, they're always selling something that they have now. And so with the Make My Nut approach, you can start selling your idea basically within literally 30 days of entering my community or my one-on-one mentoring. So how do you get a securities lawyer to work for free? Well, there's something called escrow. An escrow account is where people store money. And all securities lawyers have something called an escrow account. So you don't start by selling an actual investment offer. That's a legal contract. But what you do is you provide your investor community that you've been building with, by following my guidance. You say, hey, I'm looking at seeing if I can raise enough money to do a successful raise, a successful financial offer. And so the first step is what's called soft circle, where you're just getting verbal commitments. And if you say, well, okay, there's enough people who are verbally willing to contribute to my offer, enough money to make it work, right? Because the worst thing is to raise not enough and then going forward anyway and going broke because your company fails, and then you've also really hurt the relationships with all of your investors. Whereas if you raise enough to succeed and it doesn't work, people can understand that. But if you don't raise enough and you still go forward, it's bad. It's bad. Why do I know it's bad? Because I've made that mistake. Basically, I spent the last 40 years making mistakes, so you don't have to. So what you do, first you're getting the verbal, that's called soft circle commitment. Then if that's large enough, you say, okay, people, I want you to put your money into escrow, and here are the basic terms, just a very, one couple line sketch of what the offer is going to look like. And now before you do that, you talk to the securities attorney you want to work with and say, look, I'm going to get all the money in escrow. The people they will already have agreed to the terms. Then I want to hire you to take the basic terms and turn them into a legal document. So can we do the escrow, and then you get paid out of the close? The close is when the money actually moves from escrow into your business bank account. And a good attorney, an honest attorney, will generally say yes, because it shows you know what you're doing. And let's say you're raising $1 million. If that money is sitting in escrow and maybe a little extra, then it's probably going to close. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that happens is that people are going to have the option to change their mind. Like, that escrow is not going to be released until they've signed the final legal document. So there is a small amount of risk. But if you've handled everything the way I teach you, you're going to be able to speak powerfully and find the right securities attorney who will agree to that. And then you'll pay the attorney out of the money you raised as opposed to out of your own pocket. And the whole thing is legal this way. Depending on your country, there are different minor rules that have to be followed, but this is the way the pros raise money. They don't spend anything on legal fees until they already know they won the game. And I want you to win the game. And so if you want to be a winner in your business or project, check the notes below this video and sign up for a call. And let's talk and see whether I can help you. All right, I'll talk to you later.